Welcome back on deynonmod. Today I want to propose you a video about
had a problem that can happen quite often when you paint models and then you had to store them. And had sponges, for example, to use, but at the same time they were not useful for the size that I was searching for. So now I decided to create something completely different to use to store the models and size, the box. And for here, I had to verify some things. For example, about the size of the models. Here we can see that, for example, about here we have that the White King, it's okay about here, so it's not a problem. The problem is about the here, the cavalry, because some of them can't be here upheaval, so eventually had to store in some other ways, but it's the less problem. The problem is about the mast there is. So we have to open this one, and we can find that inside there is something that could be quite useful, at least in this box, that I think that it's really quite helpful. And this one, this was used to keep, if you see about the unboxing of the army set itself, the part about the book inside. But there is also another thing that could be quite good, and it's if you go to see about such, that here we had this side that eventually could be cut, and we can prepare this thing that could be used eventually as a door or so on, but to move this part around as a cross, so that could be a sort of way to make that they can keep everything, as you see it's on this line, in the position. So it's quite intriguing, because crossing will reinforce the center about this part. Eventually we can use, if we cut other parts here, to keep to have other pillars around that eventually you can paint and so on, and it's really quite interesting. About these parts here, we can eventually try to make this angled, so that you can keep the design and having a separation eventually. So it has quite a lot of potential, so eventually we can put something behind here that keep everything in position. So it's quite intriguing as thing. So now let's make the cut about this piece and start to prepare, because I think that it's quite intriguing as option. As you see, what I done is to sign this part, so to add the continuation about this line, and then cut off using a knife, something like this, a cutter, and pay attention where a glove eventually, so to avoid any misshape, because it can really be weak in some pieces, so better to be safe, okay? And once we have done this, we can separate and make this, because here we had the height that we are interested about, so we can find about the excessive part that are these ones that we can cut off, but not only, because we can use also this part. If we go and flip around, we can find that we can individual the part about the height of this piece, so we can demark and then find the center part, so that we can eventually cut this piece, so that we can recross in such a way and have a better stable positioning, so it doesn't move around and so on. And it's really quite interesting, and this excessive part could be used as a pillar along the box itself. So it's really quite intriguing, I think, because anyway it's quite solid. Okay, eventually you can glue some part to be sure that it's keeping everything together, because anyway it's a bit thinner, but not bad. Eventually you can also glue some parts here, so that you can have, for example, some reinforcement. You can do a lot of things based on how you feel better. Still, it's something that give quite a lot of interesting ideas. Okay, I messed up a bit, but as you can see, the idea is work. Sincerely, I suggest you to glue something to reinforce this part, or you can eventually use these parts here that are the ones that you cut, so that you can keep better in position everything. So you have to eventually cut another piece of here and make a better reinforced, and this way you have really a quite interesting part, because really intriguing. It's as I said, I'm experimenting about this, but I quite appreciate. Okay, now I have technically to only wait that it's dried, the glue. Eventually we can cover with this piece that remain the part so that it's not exposed and it's better. It's up to you decide if you want to make such step. Remember to wait that the glue is dried before to put it in the box so that it doesn't have any problem or any reaction or it make it smell bad, so pay attention about this. And so here I have the piece. Okay, it's done and we can put it on here. And we can make this so much sturdier, as you can see, so it really keep much better. Then we have only to store, so we can put the part about the infantries here, so we can store tons of them. About the cavalry, okay, here remember that it's a problem when it's vertical, so here you can store eventually on this side. You can use some sponge or some cardboard to keep in position, so it's not about. You can also store here so that you can separate with little things and at the same time having much better suited. And we can store obviously also the White King. About the White King, as you can see, it's without any problem about having here, but if you are problematic about, you can simply store with here, because it's higher than 80mm one, so you can make this lane and okay, you simply make something that it doesn't move around or so on, and it's really quite intriguing way. So we created something to store that it's easy, we can recover. Obviously it's based on what you have and so on, but it's an idea, so it's something that give you a way to think a bit outside the box, or better inside the box in this case, and having fun preparing something. So okay, a bit of effort, but sometimes it's better than having something else, because I have merged boxes but they are still busy because they have other models inside or so on, and eventually use like this. If the height is enough, it's not bad. There are also other ways to put the box, for example in vertical. In such a way you have quite intriguing sight, because you could simply put it like exposure, so that you have the background of the box itself that give quite a nice vibe, and you don't have the problem about having the knights, for example, laying on a side or so on. They are much more comfortable, so it's quite intriguing. Or you could magnetize eventually the upper body of the knight, as we see in the video related. And it's really quite intriguing way. Eventually you can use also some magnetic sheets and then magnets under the base of the model, so that you could eventually store even better, and you can position the models themselves in different ways and have gaining more space eventually. So you can really have a lot of fun with using such type of boxes, because you can use them as decoration itself. So from deynonmod it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So I hope to see you again to the next time.